Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Mary and I give you an extra warm welcome. I would love it if you grabbed a snack, stay for a while and click the subscribe button. I would love to have you. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you more than you know. So as you could tell by the title of the video, we are going to review Pat McGrath's latest launch. This package got to me a couple of days ago, but it's been a busy weekend. Today is Sunday, June the 11th, and my niece, my husband's niece, but I love her, she's my niece. She got married yesterday. Family was over, we had family staying at our house. Yeah, so there was just no way for me to film with this until today. Now that all the chaos is over, I was the makeup artist for my niece. I did do her makeup and I totally forgot to take pictures so I could show you. But it was a couple of eventful days. I'm so tired, but here we are. We're going to film with this new collection from Pat McGrath that includes a new cream blush formula and a new quad, also a new highlighter stick duo. So let's jump right into this review of some new Pat McGrath items and if they are worth your money. Okay, I am on the Pat McGrath website and as you can tell, I already have a tiny bit of makeup. We did go out to eat for breakfast with my husband's brother and wife. So I did put on a tiny bit of makeup, but I did cover up the little blush and bronzer that I did have with a tiny bit more foundation. So we pretty much have a clean slate now. Okay, so this new Divine Blush Color Balm collection from Pat McGrath. So a new cream blush stick formula in 6 different shades. She did also include a new quad in this collection, which is called the Passion Fleur, and also a Skin Fetish highlighter and balm duo. She already has this in her line, but it's a new colorway. I picked up a bundle. She did have a couple of bundles available when this launched. She now has more bundles. I wish she could have had more bundles when I purchased this. And I purchased the quad, the highlighter balm duo, and a balm blush for $125. With the discount, I think it came to $100 and something. She does have more bundles available and I don't know if it's still the same, but when I purchased this bundle, I could not pick the shade for my blush. So Sun-Kissed Seduction, which is, I feel that almost like mahogany orange terracotta shade. So that I did not like. I don't know why she does that. You should be able to pick your blush, you know? The highlighter duo on its own retails for $58. The blush on its own retails for $29, which is a decent price for Pat McGrath. And the quad itself retails for $62. Yeah, $62. Okay, so we're going to start with the cheeks and then we'll move on to the eyes. Okay, so we're going to start with the blush. The Pat McGrath Divine Blush Legendary Glow Color Balm. Sun-Kissed Seduction. 36-month shelf life. Oh, wow. And it was made in Italia. The unit carton, which is always beautiful. She does put a lot of effort into the packaging for her collection, which I do enjoy. But I also feel like she's done this colorway before. Okay, and here is the actual product itself. Does this feel luxurious? No, not at all, but it is $29 and there is the shade. Okay, definitely feels balmy, reminds me of the Merit Beauty, but that's a beautiful, beautiful shade. Very, very pretty. I wonder if it... So I blended it out. So as you could tell, it's kind of a sheer formula and it does stay balmy, but it's not sticky. Almost feels like a hydrating oil. So I am going to put this on first. Let's do this cheek. And like I said, I went ahead and touched up my makeup. For today, I have the KVD, what is this? The Good Apple Liquid Foundation? Medium 045. And I did not powder after freshening up my So let's go ahead, since it is warmed up on the back of my hand, I do see a tiny bit of foundation on this stick, so straight onto your cheek is probably not the best way. Ooh. Okay, that blended out very easily. I put some on the back of my hand. I like the shade. I'm now just picking up the brush and picking it up from the actual stick. By the way, this is the Sephora 96 brush. So I will definitely have to powder this down, and I'll use a Pat McGrath blush. This formula for me personally, it's not something I would just leave on its own without powdering. It's just, that's not how I like to use these. But that is a very beautiful, beautiful shade. I was okay with getting this shade in the bundle that I picked, but not everybody, you know, like this is one of the shades I was eyeing to possibly pick up if I did pick up a blush. I wish she would make it so that you could pick your blush shade in that little trio bundle. Okay, so this is blending out like a dream. No surprise there, since it is a balm texture and a balm formula. Definitely a tiny bit of a sheer, more natural kind of blush. So if that is not your jam, then honestly, I don't think you need to pick this up. So unless you are a super huge Pat McGrath fan and just need to have everything from Pat McGrath, you don't need this. Honestly, you don't need this. Now, is it beautiful? Yes, it is absolutely beautiful. And also it's $29. That is a really good price for Pat McGrath. The packaging, some people compared it to ColourPop, and I see it, but the price kind of coincides with the product itself, and it is Pat McGrath. Price is lower, but she did have to kind of jip the packaging just a tiny bit. Now, it is pretty, but it just doesn't feel or look luxurious like Pat McGrath usually is, you know? My nose is just not happy today. So where the wedding was at yesterday, there's a lot of cottonwood trees and cotton little fuzzies flying around everywhere. Okay, now we're going to jump in to this Skin Fetish Extreme Highlighter and Balm Duo, and Cyber Lotus is the new shade that she came out with for this collection. So I feel like this formula, you either enjoy it or you don't. If you like balmy highlighters, which I do, has to be the right consistency though. Okay, so this is what this component looks like, and I would say that it feels luxurious. Now, if the blushes were in this packaging, I bet you the price would have been up $10 to $15 than what it is. This one is what, 50 something dollars? So you get the pretty pink shade on one end. Let me swatch it. Definitely balmy and has a lot of glitter.
Ooh, I'm not sure about that.
Okay, and this shade here is the highlighter. It says here highlighter. And then on this side it says balm. I guess it's just like a clear balm that anyone could use. Does it have any kind of... Okay, it does have just the slightest, like very, very light sheen to it. Ooh, it smells like vanilla. So maybe you can mix both. I don't know. So we're going to try the balm first and see. I mean, it's just going to be a clear balm. Honestly, there's not going to be much to see. I probably wasted my money on this product, but I never tried it before and I was intrigued. You know, I haven't powdered, so I'm still glowy from the balm blush. So I feel like if I were to wear this balm, I would probably do it maybe over powder, or powder the blush first and then use it. Subtle, pretty, very natural. This is not going to be everybody's cup of tea, that's for sure. But it is a pretty product. Is it worth the 50 something dollars that it cost? I don't think so. Okay, now let's try the highlighter side, which is, I'm honestly a tiny bit scared of all that glitter. Not going to lie. So at first I thought maybe I can use this as a very light sheer blush. I don't know. I'm gonna use the Sephora 96 and try a tiny bit and just see what I think. But I think it's just gonna be too glittery. Yeah, it barely picked up anything. Okay, well, we'll try it out here as a highlight just to see. Hopefully you can't see those glitter particles too much. Okay, I'm looking very glowy on the cheeks, and it's not the kind of glow that I enjoy, so I am going to have to powder. Okay, now we're going to jump in like as a highlight. Let me just find. Okay, so this brush here, the BK Beauty 113, is amazing with cream highlights. So I'm gonna try this one and see how it goes. I'm picking it up straight from the stick, and there's product in there. Okay, so far with just this brush, the glitter is minimal. You can't really see it, like it's very micro fine. I wonder if it's gonna look the same. I'm gonna try my finger. And I do have the balm on there still. Okay, so with a finger, you can see a tiny bit more of the glitter, but it's not too extreme. Okay. Pretty. All right, my lovelies, now we're going to move on to the new quad from Pat McGrath. This is the Luxe Eyeshadow Quad in Passion Fleur. Oh, and by the way, the highlighter and balm duo stick has an 18-month shelf life, and it was also made in Italia. 12 months for the quad, and also, oh no, this one is made in the USA of US with imported ingredients. Unicorn looks like, what was that collection? Okay, so the quad is in a pink component, which I thought was cute. I'll be able to tell it apart from my other black ones. And here is the quad itself. So you get one matte and 3 different kind of shimmers. So it looks like this one has extra sparkle, and these two might be like your typical satin shimmery shades. Okie dokie. So I am going to speed through this. I feel like Pat McGrath's formula, you either love it or you don't. I don't want this video to be super long. So I'm going to create the eye look, speed through it, and then I'll be back and we can get to talking. NARS Eye Base in Light, Sephora 19 brush. NYX Glitter Glue, Sigma E54. Natasha Denona Draw and Diffuse brush. With the brush, okay, I am back. I went pretty subtle and light for the eye look. Every shade performed beautifully. This shade right here is very pretty. Definitely not her Astro Blitz shades, but honestly, because of the fallout, sometimes I prefer shades like this because you still get a pretty good, you know, punch. Like, it's still very beautiful, shimmery, glittery. It's a beautiful, beautiful shade. I enjoy the Astro Blitz shades, but sometimes I do enjoy these kinds of shades as well. And that inner corner and that almost orangey, pinky shade is like your typical satin, glimmery kind of shade. Subtle, but also can pack a punch. Yeah, the eye look is beautiful, very soft. I enjoyed playing with this. Now, do we already have these shades? Yes, we do. And honestly, when I saw this, it reminded me of the Divine Rose 2, which is funny because the one I own is also in like a special edition rose pink, and mostly in this, and then maybe the Astro Blitz shade is what I'm seeing in this new quad. But I definitely got Divine Rose 2 vibes. I feel like this could be an extension of this palette. I mean, granted, the purple plum shade is a tiny bit more on the purple side versus brown, but this is what it reminded me of. We already have these shades. There's nothing new here. By the way, there is names on the back. I don't like saying the names. I rarely don't because I always end up messing it up. I did go into a Pat McGrath powder blush on top, and it's one of the duo. I don't know if these are still available. This is, what shade is this? Paradise Glow. Okay, so this Pat McGrath formula reminded me, as I was applying, of the Merit, except the difference is that the Pat McGrath, when you blend it out, it still stays balmy, but it's like a very soft oil. Not sticky at all. The Merit one, this one, it's a balm. It's a true balm, and even when you blend it out, it's a true balm. I enjoy the Pat McGrath more than the Merit just because of the finish. And then another one that it reminded me of is of the About Face. Even though this is more... Okay, no, now that I'm swatching the About Face, it's more gel-like than balmy, really. But it's close, I would say. Like, formula-wise, it's close. Just not as balmy, it's more creamy. I mean, I can go on and swatch every single cream, balm, blushes in my collection, but we would be here forever. So I thought I would just pull out a few. Formula is different, but nothing super extraordinary, honestly. Could you skip these blushes? Yes, you probably can. But if you're a Pat McGrath fan and you need to have everything that she, you know, launches, then okay, to each their own. All right, so for the little balm and cream highlighter duo, I did pull out a few, and mostly to compare the balm, because honestly, that highlight, it is a tiny bit balmy, but not too much. I don't think I have anything like that in my collection, and that is because it has glitter, and I dislike glitter. Okay, I did pull out a couple of balmy highlighters to compare to the balm in this little duo. The highlighter, I don't have anything in my collection like it because it is so, like, there's so much glitter in there. You can see, like, if you look up close at my high points of my cheeks,
You can see the glitter from that highlighter.
it's not my favorite. I don't know how much I'm going to use this. Yeah, there's nothing in my collection that I have like this. The only one I can think of is maybe the Surratt Beauty, but the shade I have, and even this one, the glitter isn't as chunky as the Pat McGrath one. I'm not sure I'm going to pick up this Pat McGrath all that much. And then here is the balm swatched. Very first one is the Merit, but this one does have a base to it. Texture wise, no, honestly, not even close. Pat McGrath one is a tiny bit more balmy and just almost like Vaseline. The Merit one I have lit up, I think so, yeah, lit up. This one also has more of a base, and I don't think it's even going to be close, but I thought I would. Okay, so this one is more balmy than the Merit. Can you see it? Okay, so I would say so far right now the closest is the Merit Beauty. So if you have the, like, the fluorescent, almost clear one, I think it's close to the Pat McGrath. And then lastly, this little rose quartz, which is honestly not even available anymore, but I thought I would swatch it because at one point there was some clear in here. Like, yeah, this one, balmy for sure. Still not the same as, at least when it comes to the balmy texture, right here, as the Pat McGrath. So as of right now, the closest to it would be the Merit. Was I saying Merit? This is the Merit. This is Westman Atelier. Oh my gosh, I am so scrambled still. So the closest to the Pat McGrath balm is the Westman Atelier right here. So like I said, if you have that like almost sheer iridescent highlight stick that she has, I think that is the closest to this Pat McGrath. But this one, I have nothing like it because I don't purchase. I honestly did not think it was going to be this glittery. It honestly looks like just pure glitter. Okay, my lovelies. Well, I hope the few comparisons that I took out helps you a tiny bit in deciding whether you want to still pick something up from this collection or not. I feel like Pat McGrath is still that brand that everybody loves. Now, is it becoming repetitive and redundant?
Yes.
Because I feel like everything has been done. Just about everything has been done, and unless she gives us something completely crazy when it comes to the color story, we're gonna feel like we're getting the same thing over and over. So I feel like you're either still obsessed and loving Pat McGrath or you're kind of over it. As far as the quad, I do enjoy this. I think this eye look is absolutely beautiful. I can definitely recreate something very similar to this eye look with other Pat McGrath shadows that I have in my collection. So definitely not a must need, but it is actually pretty cute because it's pink. The blushes. Now, even though I only picked up one, I honestly just really wanted to test out the formula. And it's okay. It's decent. It's not the best out there. It's not my favorite, but it did a good job. It's definitely more on the natural side because as you saw, it was a tiny bit sheer. I kind of wish maybe they had a tiny bit more pigment. So price is lower. Packaging is like, reminds me of ColourPop. But overall, it's an okay product. Do you absolutely need this? No. I feel like we've been getting blushes for months on end now, and they might still keep coming. If you love Pat McGrath, then okay, I understand why you're picking it up, but I don't think it's a must-have. Okay, this little balm and highlighter duo. As you saw, I can definitely find something similar in my collection, so it's definitely not super special. The packaging is cute because it's like pink with the gold, and it does feel heavy. It's a tiny bit more luxurious than the blush itself. I kind of a tiny bit regret purchasing this. The balm, I think it's cute. I wish it had maybe a tiny bit of shimmer in there. It almost looks iridescent, but it's not, like it's too bland. Definitely a product that you would use on a day that you barely have any makeup. It's just okay. The price tag just for me doesn't match the product, but it could just be that I'm just disappointed a tiny bit. So I do regret purchasing this duo, and I probably should have skipped it. And I understand now why it did get some not so great reviews. Overall, this collection is okay. I'm a little underwhelmed. I'm kind of over it, and I wish she gave us something different. But honestly, I feel like every time we say that, and she does, like when she did that holiday collection palette where it had the very bright colors, people were still disappointed. So it's like I say this, but then she gives us something different and I'm just like, no, I hate it, you know? So it's an okay collection, and you're probably okay if you skip it. That's the conclusion that I have from this video and trying everything out. Okay, my lovelies, well, that's going to be it for this video. There's already so many videos out there reviewing this collection, so I'm like super late to the game as always. It is what it is. When I checked on the status like 3 or 4 days ago, there was operational issues or something like that, and that's why my package was delayed. I'm like, of course. I tried it out. You heard my thoughts, so I hope that helps you out in a way. Let me know down below if you picked anything up or if you're thinking about picking it up. I would definitely like to know, but I think I'm good with what I picked up and I don't need anything else from this collection. And hopefully she brings us something new and different in her next launch. All right, well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. You have no idea all the comments, all the likes. If you use my links to shop, it truly means the world to me. Okay, well, with that being said, I would love it if you gave this video a big thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it, and you would definitely help me out in the algorithm of hopefully bringing some new and fresh eyes to my channel. And if you haven't done so already, I would love it if you joined my small YouTube family by clicking the subscribe button. I would love to have you. Okay, my lovelies, I will see you all on the next video. Bye.